Okay, I'm gonna record it. So welcome everyone that's watching. This is kind of like a roundtable discussion about how teams are working remote and trying to kind of come up with ideas about where teams are at, and also maybe you guys can learn from each other about what you think is a useful strategy. Maybe you're a person that, maybe your team works better using, like I've heard people using like Teams or Discord to communicate, while other people are kind of meeting in person very, very low key. Or I've also heard of passing the robot around, of, passing it off to one member's house each week, which I think is funny. So I'm really looking forward to hearing from all these teams. We have 5 teams. Hopefully the 6th one will come. So I will let them introduce themselves because they probably know themselves better than I do. So I'm just going to go, let's just do number order. So that's very simple because then I don't have to remember who's in order. Just do number order. So I believe it's one of the Heritage High School teams that are first. If you're going to share your screen, feel free. I think I made everyone a co-host. If you didn't get your co-host, just put it in the chat that you need a co-host. And I'm going to turn it over to them. I'm going to turn off my camera. So feel free to keep yours off unless you're talking, or if you feel like it's easier, either or. So I'm going to hand it over to you guys. And the first group can start. And Tony, I think it's your team that's the lowest number. Low-key.
I was gonna say, I don't know who the first team is, sorry. I am also just waiting on my teammate to get permission to share, but I believe this is it. Yep.
You guys see it?
Yes, sir.
All right.
All right, floor is yours.
All right, thank you.
Oh, let's go back.
All right, you can start it.
Give me 1 second.
There it goes.
We're good. All right.
All right. Hello, everybody. I'm Antonio Luna, the captain of Patriotic Robotics and one of the presenters for you today.
I'm Sophie, an aspiring programmer on the team and a big part of the business aspect of things with Antonio.
Hi, I am Jacob, the club's treasurer and the lead programmer on Patriotic Robotics.
So we're team 6372 Patriotic Robotics from Heritage High School. We're one of the 6 FTC teams at our school. We also have one FRC team called Patronauts that has members from all the FTC teams on it. So you may be wondering, how do we work so far away from all our materials?
When it was announced that school would be online, we started changing the way robotics would function right away. Since we can't access our STEM building with all our materials to work on the robot, we are instead hosting online workshops and lectures about robot design in CAD and programming. We teach our rookies and veterans alike and prepare them for when we do return back to school in person. If you want to see some of these workshops, we recorded all of them and posted them on our YouTube channel. There's a bit.ly link on the screen that you can type in or take a picture for later that'll take you to our channel.
So, like many of you, we got big budget cuts this year, and due to this, we have started seeking out new sponsors and new ways of fundraising for our club. To try and recruit more sponsors, we have created an extensive slideshow detailing all the ways that we can help them, but also how they can help us, even including reasons as to why we need a sponsor at all.
We have also had many team meetings based solely on fundraising and coming up with ideas for that. Of course, not all of them are likely to happen, but like in engineering, a bad idea can lead to a good one or become a good one later on.
So the most important thing you can do with your team, ever in real life or virtually, is to communicate with them. It sounds very simple, but people hardly do it correctly at times. So some of the ways we communicate are, number 1, on Google Meet, or like a lot of people use Zoom, which is totally fine. and that's where we have our actual team meetings. On Trello, which is a website and an app where you can keep track of everyone's work, who's assigned to what, and when the due date is, which is really great. We use Discord specifically for talking to each other during our team bonding sessions, really simple there. And finally, Instagram, where we have a group chat to plan any of those events.
We've also done a lot of team bonding. Mostly we play online games, one of which I'm sure you've heard of being Among Us. We've also played Scribble.io, Club Penguin, and are planning to have movie nights on Netflix. As long as it's accessible to everyone on your team online, usually free stuff, you can do things together and have fun.
So remember, you can find our lectures that we talked about and what we're up to on our social medias, and you can contact us through our Instagram or Gmail for questions. And with that, that concludes our presentation.
Go Among Us, man. That's a good game.
Yeah.
I really wish you could have shared the video. I just made a GIF of it. It's kind of funny, the actual video.
There's a really great video of it on our Instagram.
Yeah.
There's music, he does all the editing. It's great. He really knows what's up.
Okay, I think next up would be GearGurus, right? 7,000?
Yeah, GearGurus.
Okay, the floor is yours.
All right, can everyone hear me?
Yeah, you're good.
All right. So my name's Caleb. I am the team captain of Team 7832 GearGurus. I am the main builder, and I also do the business portion of GearGurus. Seth, introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Seth Thompson. I'm the lead cadder of GearGurus.
All right, and then I will go ahead and share. So while I get the presentation set up, I'm going to go ahead and start talking because I sadly wasn't able to have it yet. So part of our journey was social distancing and everything like that is mainly communication. Two of us on team, Seth and I, communicate on the daily because of classes at school, and we're just great friends. So we always had stuff like Discord or Instagram to communicate. So we added our other team members to that, which I make announcements and everything on Instagram, and then Discord, that's our work times. So we can just communicate or ask questions while we're working for CADs, stuff like that. And then see. For designing the robot, we've been using Autodesk Inventor and Onshape. Sadly, some of us aren't able to get Inventor on my team, so we all update on Onshape for our robot designs, which prototyping's been doing pretty well. Let's see. For building the robot, we will be making a kit list to be sent to one of our members, and what our team is going to do is we're going to split up all these different kits, or we're going to split up the main kit into several parts for teams or team members. So each group will be assigned to one part of the robot, and they'll build their robot. And then once we're able to come together, hopefully, we can have the final assembly as a team, which can grow for the team bond. Which, talking about team bonding, like Patriotic Robotics, we play stuff like Among Us. We'll do Minecraft sometimes for the ones that have Minecraft, or we find an alternate for them. And then Scribble.io, if you guys know that one, the drawing one, it's pretty fun. And then then Seth will talk about due dates and what's our timeline for getting CAD done.
Yeah, so we wanted to set some sort of like goal, so it's not like we're just working in the dark, because obviously a lot of us don't know what's gonna be the future with this pandemic. So we're trying to set some we're trying to be really consistent on our work and make sure we get some sort of goals done by a certain amount of time. So we're thinking within like the next 2 weeks we have all of our prototyping done. So whenever we do go back to school, we would be prepared to start building and we won't have to waste any time. And some strategies to do that, like Caleb said, is we've been keeping each other updated through Instagram. And then every single time we do have our days where we meet to work, we go on Discord and are very communicative with each other and help each other out.
All right, and then to finish off, some like potential strategies for the future, depending, because like Seth said, we're not really sure what's going to happen into the future. Is also we're going to be making an easy pack and go field, which I'm currently designing on Autodesk Inventor. They'll still have like PVC pipes, and it'll be the cardboard version, but we'll be able to pack up into a like 18 by 18 box. And there'll be sliders, so whoever has the robot and when the programmers get it, say, they can set up the field real quick and start programming motors and autonomouses with the field. And then if someone else needs it and they need certain dimensions, they can just pack it up and go real quick. And then also, my team already has access to controllers and phones that are compatible with the drive station. So luckily we won't have to have those sent with kits. I'm not sure if they're fine with that. So I've already started having our programmers add autonomouses to the drive station. So whenever we get the robot, we'll have it done. So yeah, and that's it.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So who's after this? Numbers. 9,000, right?
It's us.
Ooh, well, 9,000 is a low number. Crazy. All right, you guys, Blood, Sweat, and Gears, you're up.
All right, cool. Hold on. You can hear me all right?
Yeah, your audio's fine.
Okay, cool. All right. You can see this, everything's good. All right. So yeah. Austin, we'll start off.
Okay, yeah, we're team 9432 Years. We're one of the 6 FTC teams at Heritage High School in Menifee. I'm a sophomore. I'm the captain of the team, and I CAD and build.
I'm Tyla, and I'm a senior, so I've been in for 4 years, and I'm a CADer, but really I'm a jack of all trades, so I kind of do everything involving the team. I can program a little bit, I CAD, I build, I do some business and notebook stuff on the side, so yeah. So yeah, one of our primary like communication software that we use is Discord. So a lot of the other teams have mentioned this before. I think everyone's familiar with Discord, but we would like to go more in depth of how we use Discord. So yeah, obviously the main reason why we use it is because there's smooth screen sharing and the audio quality is like really good. So yeah, this helps us kind of like share our screens to show each other like what we're doing. We use it to teach each other things and whatnot. So it's like really handy and like the quality is like really good. The screen sharing is crisp. So yeah, there are also separate voice channels. So we separate our voice channels by like general, so like where everyone meets up, and we have a CADers and programmers channel. The reason why we do this is because when the whole team is in one channel, it gets kind of hard to be productive because people will tend to talk over each other, especially when we're working on like different things. So we kind of like separated ourselves so that we could focus on whatever we're doing. So like programmers go in one room, CADers go in the other room, so we could just focus on our own sub team. A little fun thing with Discord is that you could add bots. So we have music bots. So basically they just join your voice channel and they play music. So everyone can just be listening to the same music at the same time. And it makes things more relaxed. So yeah. Just like the voice channels, there's separate text channels where we could just chat and like type. So yeah, we organize this based off of like sub teams. So we have like a CAD chat, a designer chat, or not a designer, a programmer chat, as well as like off-topic stuff and documentation and whatnot. So yeah, just kind of helps compartmentalize wherever we like talk about things so that things aren't jumbled up into one like channel. One like useful thing with like the text channels is because is that we kind of use it as a form of documentation. So myself as a catter, when I'm like catting on my own time, I tend to like send screenshots a lot so that I could show the team like what I'm doing and what changes I'm making, as well as like commentating and like like projecting my thoughts into the text channel. This helps when we're like working on a notebook, so we could just scroll through the Discord channels and see what I was doing to help get more detail in our notebook. So yeah, I highly recommend kind of using the text channels as like a way of documenting what you're doing. So yeah, there's also pings for announcements. So you could have like different roles for people. So like there's a programmer role, a catter role, a business role, and that just allows you to like ping or like send notifications to a certain group of people on the team, as well as you could send a notification to everyone. So if there's like important information or you're trying to like get someone to come online, then you could just ping them. Yeah. Discord is also superior because you don't need a host to call. So like in Zoom and Google Meets, you have to like have a host and you need to like set it up beforehand. In Discord, it's more casual. You could just hop into the voice channel and everyone can just be there and you can leave and there's like no issue with trying to like, I guess like start up a new meet. So yeah, that's Discord. Oh yeah, this is just a little like picture or like a screenshot of like what the interface looks like when we're sharing, like when someone's sharing their screen. So yeah. Okay. So we also use Notion for task management. I know a lot of other teams use Trello, but we decided to go with Notion this year because Notion just has like a lot more features. It's a little more complex, but we just thought it would be interesting to try it out this year. So just like Notion or just like Trello, it has the Kanban boards. So it's just like the to-do lists, like the workflow thing. And we have it separated by sub teams. So just like the programmers, the catters, the notebook people, the business stuff. So we understand that Trello can do the same thing, but like Notion makes it organizes it in a different way that we like better. So yeah, also the main reason why we use Notion is because you can have like a calendar that's connected to all the Kanban boards. So if we put like due dates on our tasks, it will like update the calendar so we could see like everything that is due on the calendar no matter what sub team it's in. So that helps us like keep track of like timelines and like deadlines and stuff that we need to like get done. And it kind of helps like it's kind of like inspirational because like we can see the amount of things that we already got done, and I don't know, it just helps like boost our morale a little bit. And yeah, also Notion lets you embed Google Drive files. So we have like a little notebook section that has like every link to the Google like Docs that we use for our notebook. It just helps. It's like it's just a bit faster to get into the notebook rather than like having to open up Google Drive and find it. So yeah, it's just convenient to have everything in Notion because most of us have it open anyways. So yeah, that's Notion. That's pretty much it. Austin.
Oh, okay. So for our CAD software, we use Onshape. We do this because it works in a browser. So for people like me who just have a Chromebook that I can't like download applications and stuff like Inventor, and it also has multiplayer CAD. So me and Tyler can make changes at the same time to our robot, and we can see each other's changes in real time. And it also has version control, so you can get a list of all the different changes you've made and then revert the robot back to the time when you before you made some of the changes. And it also has convenient and secure file management, and the sharing is super easy on it. It's just like sharing anything in Google Drive. You click a share button, type in the person's email, or you can even share it to like a whole team. and they have it. And also for Onshape, you can get a parts library from first@ptc.com. That's the email, and it has parts for like Go Build, Tetrix, and everything. It helped us a lot with our robot.
All right. Okay, so we use Reple, and this is kind of interesting. So as programmers, we primarily use Android Studio, but there are some team members on our team that don't have a PC, so they can't get Android Studio. They have a Chromebook. So we're trying to use Reple and Android Studio at the same time. Reple is basically just an IDE. Obviously, it works in a browser, so people with Chromebooks can program on it. It's convenient because there's also live multiplayer programming. So this GIF shows like two people typing at the same time. Yeah, so it makes it convenient to like collaborate. We mostly use it just to like teach. Especially, I think Jacob Marinas from Patriotic Robotics said this earlier. Yeah, we teach people using Reple because most people from our school don't have their own PC. Yeah, we're trying to integrate that into our team a little bit because we have a team member who doesn't have a PC. So yeah, it's convenient because you can pull the GitHub repository, the FTC SDK, and it just acts kind of like the way Android Studio does. And you can also make commits to GitHub. So it's like a fully fledged IDE. The only downside to it is that it doesn't have the autofill features that Android Studio has because it doesn't have IntelliJ. And it also doesn't automatically import lines. So, or import, yeah, the imports. So like in Android Studio, if you were to like instantiate a motor or something, it'll like import the like library in Android Studio, but Reple doesn't do that. So you kind of have to like copy and paste things a lot. So that kind of makes it a little hard to debug things. But other than that, it's just a simple like IDE. It works pretty well. Yeah, so that's just a little handy tool for people who don't have a PC and to get everyone on your team involved with programming. So yeah.
For our collaborative doodling, we use Miro. It has live collaborative drawing, so it's basically just a digital whiteboard. You can put like images and you can write on them and stuff. It's really good for just quick, rough ideas. This is what we use in our early design phases to just get things out quick and easy and brainstorm. And we also just use it outside of robotics for doing homework together.
Yep.
Well, you guys, and if you want us to elaborate, you can like DM us or email us. Our Instagram is @bloodsweatandgears_. And our email is ph942@gmail.com.
Yep, that's it.
Right, that's really cool. I didn't know a lot about some of those apps, so that's really awesome. That I guess the expansion of technology working remote is growing. All right, I think it's Curiosity, right? 11,000.
Yeah. Hey.
Floor is yours.
Great. Okay. So we're Team Curiosity, and this is our presentation on team interaction and management in the pandemic, the 3 C's of curiosity. I'm Casey.
And I'm Katie.
Great. Okay. So really quick about us, we're from Marlborough School. We're one of the 4 teams from there. This is LAFTC. So, and then we are women in STEM. We're trying with the jokes. Okay. So our first C is courage. We really want to encourage making connections. So like reaching out to other teams, reaching out to sponsors, reaching out to each other. Make connections. Do not be like, it's hard to reach out to people, especially during a pandemic. And especially when you can't be face to face, but that definitely shouldn't stop you. So reach out and be bold. Always do not be afraid to take on challenges. It seems like on Zoom, it's easier to kind of make mistakes that you can't really backtrack from because you kind of have to commit. But don't like back away and just go forward with confidence and courage. And then our last part of courage is having fun. We all sometimes get this mentality of like all work, no play. And, you know, we are a team that does robotics, but we're a team just like in general, right? We're friends. We want to spend time together. So enjoy the process and don't get like too caught up with the, like, have the courage to have fun, I guess.
Could you put it to the next slide?
There we go. Sorry.
Okay, so a lot of other people have already said this, but we use Discord and Zoom to communicate. Connection is really important, especially because we're all apart. But one thing that I would recommend is when you're having your meetings in Zoom or Discord or whatever you're doing, you should always keep open the notebook in your browser. And whenever someone's saying something, just take bullet points, and then you won't forget what happened, and it'll make it a lot easier in the long run, even if it's kind of a pain to keep doing that always. Okay, and now this is the reason why we shared the slides. I'm going to send the link again in the chat, but this has a bunch of resources for teams in it. We use Onshape, which like others have said, it's free and it's kind of like the Google Docs of CADing because you're able to CAD together and like share parts with each other, and it has version control, so you can save like checkpoints kind of for how your part is going. And we also have separate documents for each of our kind of subgroups. We have, for example, one group of maybe 2 or 3 people is working on the intake. One group of 2 or 3 people is working on the wobble goal, like arm thing. So everyone has their own document, and then we have another document for all of them together. So you can kind of like put them all in one thing. So it's really helpful. So if you like click the links, there's links to tutorials for all of these things. And GitHub is for coding collaboratively, and if you click the link with the like image thing, you'll go to a guide we created for getting teams started with GitHub. And then Zoom, I don't know if you need a tutorial for Zoom since you are on Zoom, but I figured I would just add one anyways. And notebook tips, it's really important, especially because we're all like not together, to take notes in the notebook, not just for judging, but also that's so that you know what your teammates are doing. So it kind of ties into the communication aspect. And then one of the most important things is for me, when I do programming, if I have a question and no one knows the answer, the FTC Discord is really, really helpful because people there are like veterans of coding, or I'm sure of other things, but normally I just use it for coding. And they're really, really good at helping you out with problems. And if you are interested in learning localization, that link also has stuff for that too. So, and once again, all of these resources are free. And could you go to the next slide? And you please contact us through the Discord. Like we both have Curiosity in our nickname, and or the email or the Instagram if you have questions, or you could ask questions now, obviously. Thank you.
I mean, I would still like to learn a couple tricks about Zoom in the breakout groups because my college classes still have issues with that and we still don't get it. But, you know, maybe I'll take a look and give suggestions to them. All right, so last up but not least, Wolfcorp, you're up.
All right. I'll go ahead and paste in our slides right before we get started. And I'll go ahead and screen share. All right, so we're Team Wolfcorp 12525. We're a 8th year first team and a 4th year FTC team, and I'm Daniel.
I'm Kevin.
I'm Jason.
And so today we'll be presenting on remote working over the pandemic. All right, so with our practices going from in-person to virtual, we had a couple goals set in mind starting in March. And so that was just to keep practices consistent, keep them productive and efficient, keep them updated so everyone knows what's going on, and keep them as in-person or as like in-person as possible. So with consistent, it's mostly just keep making sure we're doing it weekly or a couple times a week when it gets busy and having a set time. So it kind of becomes a routine. Keeping it productive, we're trying to make sure that everyone can get their job done and get whatever tasks they have set out. And keeping it updated helps with keeping it productive because if everyone knows what's happening, they can ask questions and they know what to how to route the information around. And yeah, and so to keep it updated, we mainly use Discord and we use Zoom as well. So we kind of have 3 or 4 different types of practices. The first type of practice is a full team practice, where it's us with our coach, and we have experts that come to these full team practices. Any big events that are happening, some large updates, they all happen here, and meeting with sponsors and kind of those things where the whole team should be there. And moving on from that, we have member only. So this is usually where we're without our coach and we're working by ourselves, and we have group projects, smaller decisions, so smaller events or kind of the smaller parts of events we might be hosting or joining. We kind of decide those there and checking up with everyone to make sure everything's going smooth. And so with these member only practices, we sometimes split into specific departments like programmer, building, CADing, those kind of business. And so these are more focused on specific tasks as well as learning, and they're really focused on the member strengths. And finally, we kind of have the individual practice where it's just one person working by themselves.
During these times, planning the building process has become much more important to working efficiently and effectively. Our team has followed these 4 steps to progressing our robot. Shortly after the 2020 to 2021 game was released, our team split into 3 groups in order to brainstorm a variety of ideas. Our next step was to draw out the ideas and pitch them to the rest of the team. We would then give feedback and try to pick the best ideas. After refining these ideas by ourselves, we would then meet with experts that have mechanical or related experience. We explain the game, talk about our game plan, and then present our ideas, explaining the pros and cons that we have thought about. During this time, we ask for opinions on each of the ideas and how they might approach the game. We have a discussion with the experts over the possible pros and cons and how to decide what we want to focus on. Recording these meetings is very important as it gives you the option of looking back and remembering the details of the meeting. For the final step of this process, it is time to CAD and prototype your ideas. CADing before you build is essential this year as it reduces the amount of time spent trying to put it together. Continue to build your ideas and refine them until you are satisfied with the result. Building a robot during a pandemic is challenging, but I hope everyone can still find some advantages. We found that connecting with experts is much easier via Zoom or Discord.
So the pandemic also affects the way we do in-person outreach tremendously. However, we have learned a new way of giving back to communities via virtual events. And to show you how our virtual events worked, I'll be talking about the FTC showcase that we hosted last June. So part 1, the process all begins with choosing the event topic and style. And we chose to host a showcase so that teams can learn from other winning teams in the LA region. Next, we had to get a feasible date down that would be optimal for attendees and team members as well. So we chose a Saturday in June where most teams had a summer break and teams were in their off season. Part 2 is preparation. So we had to gather a team contact information, and we did this by compiling a large spreadsheet of teams from LA and kept track of their name, team number, and social medias. And in order to coordinate this large spreadsheet, Our team members use Discord a lot as a way to update others and join voice calls if we ever needed to speak directly to each other. The next crucial part is promotion, and we use multiple methods to advertise our event, such as direct email, direct message, promoting via Facebook groups, Instagram, and Twitter. And in general, social media is just a great way to allow us to easily reach out to large audience of robotics teams and other people interested in attending. The final part is event day. So get ready to present and remember to record the meeting so you could send it out to attendees in the future. After the event was over, we always ask for feedback from our attendees to see how we could improve the event for the future. Hosting an outreach during a pandemic is new and can take some time. However, the outcome is worth it because you can reach teams from around the world and meet new people.
Thanks for listening to us, and if you want to contact us, you can find us at Team Wolfcorp or contact us through email, wolfcorprobotics12525@gmail.com. Thank you.
Okay. So that was really interesting because I think just my takeaway from it, listening to all of them, I feel like a lot of you obviously are using Onshape. I think it's probably the most common one because of the real-time collaboration. Discord is very popular. I'm very excited because we were trying to get people to be on Discord in general. So that's pretty cool. First is actually promoting Discord to be used, which I also find very interesting. And then what was it? Then I do find it interesting how people are doing notebooks. So I expected people to say Google Drive, but also it may be different. Do you guys? I haven't heard team feedback. What is your guys' opinion about the new way notebook is being done?
Oh, I don't know. I'm okay with it. We're still like doing a traditional notebook, but like when like competitions are up, we can just condense it into the 15-page. So yeah, we're still having a traditional notebook this year, and we are using Google Drive. But the difference from last year is that we're actually using Google Slides instead of Google Docs, because Google Slides lets us like move text around and images around way easier than Google Docs does. So yeah, that's just kind of a thing that we're doing this year that's new.
Yeah, Wolfcorp is also taking like a similar approach. We're just doing documentation like how we would do it normally in a regular season. And then at the very end, we're just going to take like all the highlights and the important parts of our season and condense it down into that 15-page PDF.
Yeah, I think the new guidelines have come out. I think they just came out at the end of October. People are still waiting for more clarification about what is that exactly, because the trouble is how it's going to be judged is kind of still an unknown factor. Because I think the original intention was supposed to be you go around and you look at these real, like the full notebook, but you get like a teaser, so to speak, of the highlights of someone's notebook. So it was going to be more of a award where you're not just trapped in a room all day and reading 50 notebooks. I have done that. I think it's great, but other people don't like it. So that is kind of the new intention, but now because of virtual, I don't think that they want that. So I'm very fascinated to see. The other question I have is when you guys, so I think a lot of you who do not have robots built, or it's very, very basic robots, or it's like a conception of a robot, like the thoughts of what your robot's going to be. So what's the strategy then? Because our competitions are in March, you technically have 4 more months to build a robot. And does anyone have any like what you're gonna do if say your school does let you get your parts, or at least one person can get the parts? Anyone want to share ideas about that? You can just unmute yourself.
Curiosity, like, it hasn't been allowed on campus thus far, but now after break, we're gonna start to be allowed on campus, like socially distant with masks, because they're counting us as a sports team. So we're gonna get permissions to do that. So, but we don't have a physical robot yet, but we're planning to take some stuff home over break and try and have something before the scrimmage, even if it's not really a fully functioning robot.
So are you guys then, is it going to be like one or two of you show up on campus and can work like socially distanced outside? Like obviously I've been there and there's like 50 of you guys like around. I highly doubt that's going to be allowed. But is it more like a rotational type thing?
Yeah, so you can like sign up for 1 day a week that you want to go, and there's only a few slots. And we all sit socially distance, and sometimes we're catting. And that like then we can kind of talk about it a little bit easier. One of the
It's like 3 people for per team or something like that is allowed.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's kind of like you can have like sub teams, and then like maybe you go online and do a full team meeting, but like 3 of you guys are there physically. Okay.
Yeah.
I have heard that robotics has been getting counted as sports teams. I think that's hilarious. But you know, that's awesome. Does anyone else, has anyone been able to meet in person or at least like build in this group?
So, Team Wolfcorp, we've done sort of a more division of labor, right? You've got the programmers, which they take like a prototype robot. They try to this year we're trying to test out new types of like mechanisms, and we've essentially given them a type of prototype robot to have them try and get some progression. While the builders, we work at a different location and we do another robot. So we have 2 separate things going on.
Can you drive? The number one question. Can you drive around?
Ask Daniel.
So our robot's kind of still a work in progress. Yeah, I can drive, but do we want it to drive? Probably not for now. But yeah, so just splitting up into smaller groups, keeping like making sure we're safe, and yeah, and doing like small in-person practices.
Okay, that's what I expected most teams to be at. I have built a robot in like 1 day. It was not good, but it worked. So I do think if you cat it out all and everything is hypothetically correct, you hypothetically can get a robot in probably a weekend. If it came down to it, is it going to be perfect? No. But like, would you be able to probably compete and at least put up a reasonable score without testing? Probably. I do think it's kind of interesting because I know a lot of schools are making decisions in January, is what I've heard. Correct me if your schools are different, but I'm pretty sure everyone is waiting on LAUSD to announce what they're going to do. And then whatever LAUSD says, it's probably going to be the same for the rest of the region. Do you guys have plans then if you guys hypothetically will never be able to meet in person?
So our team was kind of trying to do what Curiosity was, which was be counted as a sports team and be able to go in small little rotational groups. And we have 6 teams at our school. So it's a little more difficult to do that. And we did actually get denied. So the plan is to hopefully be able to put these containers of parts together and send them home, and hopefully individually people can do their own thing, whether that's pass it around or invite a small group to their homes to do that. But just to essentially just to get kids together to send home.
So is someone able to access the parts then? Or because I know that's a big concern with a lot of people is like you can get it to your house, but like the issue is someone on campus unlocking the room or like taking parts.
So our 2 mentors are both teachers who work in the building that we have all our parts stored in regularly. So that's not really a concern. What kind of is a concern though is that usually in the beginning of the year we'll have our new builders take apart the robots to kind of get a feel for what building is going to be like. And this year we couldn't really do that because we weren't in the building. So our robots are still put together. 6 robots, all our parts are just all together, and we need to kind of figure that out and get them taken apart before anything else. So that is a concern.
Oh, that makes sense. Usually the first couple weeks before the game's announced, it's usually inventory day, or
Yep.
take apart day, throw away day, trash day. People that don't know, I guess I forgot to say this. I'm from Monrovia High School, so we had, back when I was there, 4 teams, but now they're up to 6. So cray. There's so much junk. There's junk from when I was still there that I threw in the cupboard, and it's still there, burned and everything. So I get it. But I think though, the other question I have is, how are you guys going to deal with potential judging? Because that's obvious. That's going to be online no matter what. Even if we switch to in person, that will 100% be online. So has anyone even thought about that? Let's go with that. Are we just trying to move along?
So we have had, if I could answer again, another timeline kind of set on Trello, like we talked about earlier. And one of our big tasks is near the beginning of December to put a little presentation together, since it is all online, and to kind of figure that out, since we'll all be individually in our own homes, theoretically at least. So just to put a presentation together that we could all give from separate locations, however that might work out.
Okay, I mean, I'm still wondering how it's going to work too, and I'm a judge, so that's the honest answer I have for you.
All right.
I'm going to assume it's the same as this, but I know First wants you to do like a 30-minute session, which I think is too long to talk to someone, like, unless you really want to get to know each other. And I feel like you just verge off topic just based on the nature of conversation.
We'll exchange phone numbers by the end of it.
I mean, as some of these people, it's going to be probably internet issues will cut out at some point, and then someone's going to be like, oh no. But that's kind of an interesting topic, because as a committee, we've been also discussing, well, how are these teams going to do their interviews? Because is it fair for someone that doesn't have good internet to say, like, did that mess up my presentation? No, that's not fair, but you can't control that. So it's there's also like time slots, but like I know certain people, you might just be more awake at 2 p.m. versus 8 a.m. So it's a lot, and some people have religious obligations, and some people have, family commitments. So I think that is the biggest question mark. But it sounds like a lot of teams haven't even thought that far ahead in advance, which is totally cool. I just I'm interested. Then the last question I guess I have, just for anyone, how has it been teaching new members? Because I think that's a big issue. Is I think typically people that do this are the older members, not the new people. So the sharing of knowledge is going to get lost now. Some teams are going to have a complete brain drain of maybe when they're in person next year or even the year after, all their seniors and all their juniors are gone. So there's no one to quote unquote teach people. Have you guys tried to adapt for that?
So for Wolfcorp, our kind of like the teaching aspect of programming, which is kind of the new part, or like kind of what our new members were more interested in, as well. Building was kind of tough because building is like more like there's like a really pretty high need of you actually have to be there to learn. But for programming, we kind of just set up some Zoom, a couple like Discord calls, and we would just hop in a call and explain to them how it works and everything, and give them resources on how to learn Java and how to use Android Studio and how to use GitHub and things like that.
I guess that also leads to the question of recruitment, because I know some of your schools are, you just kind of naturally feed into the teams, but it's different if you work with people and it's like, hey, come join my team, but now it's all virtual, so like I don't know you. Like I just see the top half of your body and your face constantly, and I don't really know what you actually look like or what you act like. So it's kind of, does anyone have thought about that type of thing? Like, sustainability of your team?
One of the things Patriotic Robotics as a team talked about earlier was definitely communication. And I think team bonding is a big part of that, trying to keep people invested and see each other outside of a work environment, even if it is still online. And to kind of extend that further, we use a whole different thing, not even Google Meets, but Discord to talk to each other on that. And we are also supposed to have our second kind of kickoff event to hopefully get some new members in, because that did not go entirely the best way the first time around this year. And that is a concern with COVID and everything, and not getting new members is a real problem.
Yeah, I agree. The new members problem is a big issue. Does anyone else have any questions or just a general question they might have for someone?
Yes, Amanda. I don't know if I'm the only sort of team mentor here, but I'm from RoboNights in Torrance. And of course, like everybody else, we're affected, by the pandemic and in the blue zone. And it probably will be like this for the rest of the school year. So getting a chance to meet on campus looks very limited, or if not impossible. But I do appreciate the advice from, I can't remember who said it, but treating the team as a sports team to allow access on campus. I do like that idea. And to boost that, we actually on campus, we have an esports league, like a online computer gaming, that's actually classified as a sports team. So if they're classified as a sports team, robotics should be as well. So thank you for that advice. But like everybody else, because we haven't been able to really recruit, and some of my members have already graduated out, I only have 6 out of 12 members currently. And next school year, I'll lose 3 of them. So I'll be down to 3 of my original team to build from. So the 21-22 season is going to be like almost starting from fresh. So that's the challenges that we're facing as well. But I do appreciate all the advice that everybody's given, and especially about classifying the team as a sports team to allow access.
Oh, that's really cool. I haven't heard of many high schools that have an esports team, so that's awesome.
Yeah, actually, we won the league, so our team has done quite well. Bishop Montgomery High School, and so some people are actually coming to our school specifically to be on the team. So just like you have teams with good football teams or good basketball teams, but now we're the good E-League team, and we're like 60 strong or something like that. So we're doing quite well, but that gives me an angle to get the principal to classify our club as a team. So I like that idea.
Yeah, that gives you, because I've heard both of getting denied and I've heard people getting it. So it's kind of, it's a hard battle, because it honestly comes down usually to the school board and just who's on it. The ones I've seen more successful are the ones with connections to the school board, in the sense of, hey, my kid's on that team, I care about this. So I mean, it's just a kind of a hit or miss thing, but good luck to you. I do hope that we do have 100 teams in the league or in the region right now signed up, hypothetically. So that is not far off from our numbers last year. We were at about 150 last year. So it's not actually, it's way larger than I've anticipated. But we'll see how many actually compete. So it's kind of a weird number. Does anyone else have any questions, or does anyone on the teams have questions for me? Because I know some of you might have burning LAFTC questions, or just I tend to know stuff that people want to know. So does anyone have questions for me, or concerns about the season? Or how our season's going to go?
Have you figured out if the engineering portfolio is supposed to be 15 pages back to back, or just front side only?
Oh, good question. I believe the new update has probably clarified it. My guess, though, is because it is going to be turned in electronically, it will just be like a Google Drive of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and so forth. Because you can't really do front and back. So that is my guess, because you turn it in through the new I think they call it something hub, remote hub. That's what they're calling it. So you're turning in through remote hub. So my guess is it's going to show up as a 15-page PDF. So that means front side. But granted, you can print it in 8-point font and make it super tiny. If you have so much information, you'll get way more than if you hand wrote it. So unless you want to scan it, you could scan it, but that seems too much work. But that's my guess. Because the notebook people will review it, I believe, during the week versus when the people are going to meet with you. They should already have been judged or at least looked at. So because we are giving everyone a week, so that also means the judges, because we all pretty much work. So that's doing a notebook and interviews at the same day is going to be way too much. And they want you to, for y'all to be available for like hours on end. Like, that's a lot. Like, I don't want to sit in my house for hours and just wait for people. Too much. I do know though that you guys should be getting, should be like where you get assigned time, so you're not just waiting there for 10 hours. So it's more like team Wolfcorp is at 10, Curiosity be at 11, and so forth. So you have like that buffer, so it won't be just random, hey, from 8 to 8 p.m. hope you show up. We'll just go around Zoom and click or go around the remote hub and just hope someone's there. It is weird though. I know that people are still trying to figure out the virtual pit concept. I don't get that because I think that's going to be really hard to execute, but we'll see. That's not my job. But I know they are attempting to do something like a pit. It's not the same though, because that's the whole point of robotics, is to go and look at like this big fair. But good question. Anything else? Did any one of you guys participate in the scrimmage real quick? Did any of your teams do it? Yeah, I have no clue who did it then, because supposedly there was 10 teams, and I don't know who these people are. So I'll look into that. All right, I think if that's all the questions, thank you all of y'all for coming out, and good luck. Happy Thanksgiving. I hope you all stay safe. What am I gonna do? Oh yeah, I'm gonna probably do a workshop maybe after Thanksgiving, but I have finals, so I'm in grad school, if people don't know, and working full time. So I have a lot to do. So we'll see. And then it's going to be Christmas and we'll see though. But good luck. If you guys have questions, feel free to post in the Discord channel. If you guys aren't on it, you can send it to the LAFTC email or on the website and we'll put you on the Discord. It's very useful. There's direct access to people, and some of the people on there also work for First. So it's a direct line versus you having to look around. So good luck, be safe. Thank you for coming. I'll post this a little later, probably on Sunday. So bye guys.
Thank you.
Right,
Thank you. Bye.